You cannot make sense of Christianity without the resurrection. Here's what we know. There was a man, Jesus, who lived. Everyone agrees about that. And then we have the church, and everyone can agree there was a church. And that this church became, in a matter of decades and centuries, large and powerful and almost miraculously so. These are historical facts no one denies. Well, what's the connection between one and the other? And what the Bible tells us is it's the cross and the resurrection. The early church had a firm belief in the resurrection of the dead. There is no diversity of belief evident on this point. We see it in Acts. We see it in the very earliest New Testament letters. Probably the first books in the New Testament to be written were 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, and they both affirm the resurrection. And the pagans denied a bodily resurrection. They didn't want to mess around with the bodily resurrection because the body was bad. They didn't have a problem believing in any sort of, all sorts of supernatural things, but they didn't want a body. Bodies are, ugh, we don't want them. We want a spirit. And the Jews were divided on the question, but the Christians all believed it. And not only a general theory of resurrection, they believed that a man had been brought back to life and that everything in the world was different because of him. And there was no way to make sense of their newfound courage and their new success except that there was the reality of this empty tomb. There's only one reason people go to such great lengths to deny the resurrection. It's not because there isn't historical evidence. It's not because there's really reason to doubt that these things were written down. It's because we don't see it. If what the gospel writers wrote was that Jesus had been slapped across the face and he fell down and passed out and then he stood up again, no problem. But they said he died and he lives, and we don't see people who are dead and then live. The Bible tells us it happened. And we don't need to hear from little children who claim to go and come back. We have eyewitness accounts, the inspired word of God.